First, I'm going to describe the short plot background beyond my artifact, which is the speech from the anime Attack on Titan, and introduce the main character. The anime is about the city encircled by the Great Walls and constantly attacked by the Titans, which are humaniform giants that hunt to eat people. In this world, people live in constant fear, actually. But the existing reconnaissance detachment is humankind's hope as they try to explore the world beyond the Great Walls, putting themselves in danger actually to learn more about the Titans and in the end to finish this nightmare. Our main character is actually, as you can see, Erwin Smith, who is the commander of the reconnaissance detachment. Our artifact's background story is the moment happening when the young members of the detachment and Erwin were trapped beyond the walls during one of the operations by the Beast Titan. There you can see his pictures too, who is the main antagonist of the season. He's throwing a huge amount of rock which can shred the detachment and kill them because they can't go back, they are trapped. And the only strategy to kill this Beast Titan is to send the main part of the detachment directly to this Beast Titan, while the agile captain of this detachment, Levi Ackerman, will sneak up from the side and kill this Beast Titan. So, as you can see, rushing the beast directly is true death for the detachment, but Erwin somehow persuades these people to commit suicide actually, and for the humankind. And this artifact is his speech. His speech can be classified as deliberative one, as his main goal is to force the detachment to some action. We can clearly identify that the sender is Ender, the sender of this message is Erwin, while his detachment is the receiver. The main persuasive appeal that he uses is pathos. He perfectly appeals to the emotions of the soldiers, which allowed him to persuade them. Erwin mentions dead comrades of the soldiers, constantly, several times. He knows that this should be effective, this appealing to the emotions, and as the soldiers, this detachment lost their friends, and mentioning these friends should have inspired the detachment to certain actions. He mentions the brave fallen, the anguished fallen, the dead comrades of the soldiers that gave their lives during the mission. These sentences are used a stylistic device called antistrophe, repeating the word fallen several times at the end of the sentences. He focuses on, as I said, he focuses on the dead comrades constantly during his speech, and this phrase, along with the one that I will show later, makes the speech effective. Another repetitive tool used by Erwin was anaphora. There in the scene, while rushing the beast directly, he screams, "My soldiers rage, my soldiers scream, my soldiers fight," which again inspires the detachment, enhancing the strength and effectiveness of the speech. So there we can see that Erwin frequently uses this repetition stylistic effects, stylistic techniques, which allowed him to focus on specific words, for example, fallen, for example, soldiers, and he focused on that words. He emphasized these words, and this made this speech effective. Along with these stylistic devices, I want to focus my attention on the delivery of this speech by Erwin. It is actually one of the most important parts of this speech. Erwin's pace of this speech and the volume of voice is continually rising. Firstly, his voice was quiet and calm. His pace was steady as he talked about the upcoming deaths and inevitability of this of their fate. However, when he begins to talk about the reason for their future sacrifice and why they should commit suicide for the mission, he levels up his tone. he actually screams, and this works. He should have screamed to inspire the detachment. Without this charisma and without this screaming, without this constantly changing pace of speech and volume of voice, these words would have not worked. To conclude, I want to claim that Erwin's speech was effective. Why? Because he knew his audience and could appeal to their feelings and emotions. He used repetitive style and these devices which helped him to focus on certain words. And also he used his oratory skills to deliver his speech. Being quiet where needed and screaming where needed to persuade his audience, this audience is the detachment. In the end, he persuaded them to sacrifice their lives and go to the death.